I've got a question for you. What do you like to do for self-care? Hi, Poplar Community, it's Jenna, and we are celebrating International Self-Care Day, and we are exploring self-care in the Poplar Community. So what does self-care mean? And if you look up the definition, it means care to improve or preserve your health. How big and amazing is that? And yet many of us don't do that for our health. It is really hard to do self-care, and some of us haven't even recognized the importance of it in our well-being. For Tina, in her video, if you go check that out on how she prioritizes self-care, she talks about both the mental and the physical aspect of self-care for her and what that means for her and for her health. For me, self-care is an ongoing journey, struggle, learning, doing it well, not doing it well, having to reassess and try again. So as you all know, I live with asthma, and self-care for decades had not been on my radar. But my asthma worsened, and I was getting into periods of recurrent flare-ups. And I found myself for the first time in a more severe asthma situation. And working as a certified respiratory educator in a lung clinic, working with people living with chronic lung conditions and asthma and severe asthma, I noticed a pattern. And those who were experiencing flare-ups, including myself, would describe a situation where normal triggers were in play, whatever that might be, infection, allergens, air pollution, but really bad flare-ups, the kind that had people showing up at hospital or emergency rooms, there was always a stress trigger. Something stressful was happening in their life. And that was a pattern that I noticed in my discussions, and that was a pattern that I noticed for myself too. So self-care is important to me because self-care reduces my stress, which in turn reduces my stress trigger, which in turn reduces my chances of asthma flare-ups and improves my asthma control. So I've learned over time self-care is important part of my holistic care, especially when it comes to my asthma control. And the first step for me actually was recognizing both when I was feeling stress in my body, because somehow I forgot or I needed to retrain my brain to notice that. And then the second thing was to re-explore the activities that I enjoyed. Because over time, and I know this happens to many of us, and Tina talked about her busy schedules and the things that we enjoy, that feed our soul, that make us happy, those are the first things to go when we have busy lives. You know, we've got responsibilities with our job and with the people we caregive for, our partners, our children, responsibilities in our home. It's just endless. And the first thing to go in a tight schedule is the enjoyment activity. So I needed to rediscover actually what that was for myself, because I'd lost a lot of it. And then the other thing, as I mentioned, is to recognize stress in my body. And I needed to do some retraining because I really was not alive to it. And I worked with a registered clinical counselor, and I started to become more in tune with my body and more in tune with my stress responses. For example, noticing when I feel actually really fidgety and really like moving around a lot and moving through activities really quickly. That's a sign that I'm feeling kind of anxious and a little bit stressed. Physical signs in my body like chest tightness. I notice now when I'm super concentrated on something or super stressed or working through something, I don't take big breaths. And that's a common one for a lot of us living with chronic lung conditions. We forget to take deep breaths, people. We start breathing up here, and then those physical responses, those stretch receptors in and around our diaphragm, our big respiratory muscle, are not sending signals back to our brain that we're okay. It's sending signals like, I haven't worked in a while. We're in a stressful situation, body. So I've learned to recognize when I'm doing that, so I could just take a moment and do some simple diaphragm breathing or belly breathing. I've also learned behavioral responses I have when I'm stressed. So I start to notice, I'm doing a lot of blaming with my loved ones, or I'm irritated or agitated with my loved ones over very simple things that normally I wouldn't be. So I take in all those cues, and now I can see in those times when I feel stress. And then the next most important part is not just to notice, but for me, it's really been to take action. Take some self-care action. And so the activities that I do for self-care, and they happen to be physical activities, exercise activities, which I know Tina spoke to as well. And, if that's true for you too, amazing, because you get a 2-for-1. You get your exercise in, which, as we've been learning, is great for our overall health and well-being. But you get that self-care in too, and that reduction in stress level, which is so important. And for me, as you all know, I enjoy skating and I enjoy doing yoga. And I do 3 things to make sure that self-care happens, especially if it's fallen off and I need to get back into it. So number 1, it is in my asthma action plan written down. So my asthma care plan has the medications I'm taking, the triggers I'm avoiding, my maintenance medications I'm taking every day, what to do for quick relief when I need it, and to reduce my stress, what my self-care activities are. That's how important it is and what a holistic asthma action plan could look like. Number 2, and this has taken some time, I've worked with my loved ones, with my husband especially, to carve out Jenna self-care time. And it is Wednesday evenings and Sunday mornings. Those are my time. And that took some work because I'm an introvert. Might not know from these videos, but I need quiet time. I need quiet space. I need self-reflection. I need to turn inwards for a little bit. And so I needed to carve out that time with my family and have my family on the same page as me. So this time is scheduled in my phone as Jenna time, and I place my activities there. So my skating happens Wednesday evening or afternoon, and my yoga time happens on Sunday mornings. And the third thing that I do is I hold that time sacred. I try so hard not to reschedule those times for the reasons I've said, because when I start to drop off self-care, my asthma gets worse. So I want to know in the comments below, what do you do for self-care? What are the activities that you enjoy? And it might not be physical, it might be hobbies you partake in, crafts that you do. Please let us know. We'd love to know. And if you need help, if you do not have a respiratory care plan, if you are not sure what self-care activities could be part of that plan to reduce your stress trigger, come talk to us. You are not alone. Our Poplar certified respiratory educators and respiratory therapists are here for you. Let's have a discussion. Book your welcome session and let us help you to get out there and live your best lung life. All right, everyone. We'll see you next time.